English press, English media on Pio Esposito, Inter Italian striker linked with a move to Arsenal. Guys, my understanding is that Pio Esposito is obviously, as Hendrik, as many of these names we've been mentioning, is obviously appreciated by several clubs around Europe. He's one of the best talents in terms of strikers around as a traditional number 9. So really appreciated. But that's it. Inter are more than happy with Pio Esposito. Pio Esposito is very grateful to Inter for the opportunity he's having in the first team. He's doing very well. So there is a fantastic connection between Inter and Pio Esposito. At the moment, I have nothing more than this in terms of updates. Many stories on Arsenal targeting Pio Esposito, many stories on Arsenal trying to sign Pio Esposito. But at the moment, these stories remain stories. There is nothing concrete into it. Also because, again, the player is more than happy at Inter and there is no feeling at all about Pio Esposito leaving Inter in summer 2026. So that's what I can tell you today. I received many questions on this topic, but that's the situation.
What's up, Gooners? Don't leave the video yet because Arsenal is preparing a massive bid for a Real Madrid star valued at £43 million. On the other hand, Manchester United is about to steal another young talent from us. And Ben White has just left injured, but we have a crucial update on our player that will surprise you. Let's go. Gooners, Arsenal are going back to the Real Madrid well, and this time they're targeting one of La Liga's most exciting young talents. According to Spanish outlet AS, Real Madrid star Victor Valdepenas is firmly on Arsenal's radar, and the interest is now very serious. Valdepenas is one of the rising stars of La Liga and Real Madrid. Arsenal have long admired the Spanish market. We signed Martin Zubimendi this past summer and Martin Odegaard before that. Now Valdepenas could be next. Here's where this gets really interesting, and pay close attention. AS claims that Arsenal are planning a big push for the Spanish midfielder this summer. And here's the kicker. Valdepenas has a release clause set at around £43 million. If Arsenal trigger that clause, Real Madrid will be powerless to resist. Valdepenas would be free to enter discussions with Arsenal over a deal. That's how release clauses work in Spain. They're non-negotiable. £43 million for a Real Madrid talent? That's actually reasonable in today's market, especially for a player Los Blancos rates so highly. But here's where this transfer gets complicated, Gooners, and this is the big question Arsenal need to answer. Does Victor Valdepenas actually improve Arsenal right now, or would he just be another young talent sitting on the bench? At the moment, Valdepenas isn't getting into Real Madrid's starting lineup consistently. He's a prospect for the future, not a guaranteed starter today. So if Arsenal sign him for £43 million, would he get into our back four? Would he start ahead of William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Piero Hincapié, or Christian Mosquera? Probably not. There are two ways to look at this situation. On one hand, keeping eyes on the best young talent in Europe is always beneficial. Arsenal's recruitment strategy under Andrea Berta focuses on signing tomorrow's stars today. Valdepenas fits that profile perfectly, but on the other hand, would Valdepenas really be advancing his career by moving from Real Madrid to Arsenal to effectively be in the same position? Sitting on the bench at Madrid or sitting on the bench at Arsenal, what's the difference for him? That's something both the player and Arsenal need to think carefully about before pulling the trigger on this deal. Drop a fire if you think Arsenal should sign Valdepenas anyway, or a cross if you think we should focus elsewhere. While Arsenal target Real Madrid's young talent, Manchester United are about to do something that will make your blood boil. Gooners, get ready to be furious, because Manchester United are about to do it again. Arsenal are keen on Blackburn Rovers striker Igor Tyen. The Gunners have already earmarked him as a signing they expect to make this summer. The deal was basically done in Arsenal's minds. But there's a problem. No contract has been signed yet. No deal has been struck with Blackburn Rovers, and that leaves the door wide open for other clubs. And guess who just walked through that door? Manchester United. According to Team Talk, Manchester United are among the clubs to have held talks with Igor Tyen over completing a summer move to Old Trafford. Let me repeat that. United have held talks with a player Arsenal thought they'd already secured. This is happening right now. Tyen and his representatives are well aware of all the options he has on the table, and they're in a position to hold out for the best offer. That means United could swoop in with better terms and steal him from Arsenal at the last minute. Blackburn will be due some sort of compensation, but they'll be powerless to stop Tyen moving on to whichever club he chooses. If Manchester United beat Arsenal to the signing of Igor Tyen, it it will be another occasion of the Red Devils taking one of the top young talents from under Arsenal's noses. Remember Chido Obi Martin? Arsenal were tracking him for ages. He was training at Hale End, everything pointed to him joining Arsenal. Then Manchester United came in at the last minute, tempted him to Old Trafford and stole him. Obi Martin is now at United and expected to make an impact in the coming seasons. Now United are doing it again with Igor Tyen. Same playbook, same frustration for Arsenal fans. Tyen's career path is on a similar trajectory to Obi Martin. He has some experience at Blackburn already, but he's very much a raw talent with massive potential. These are exactly the sort of youngsters Arsenal need to be bringing in. Young, hungry, Premier League based, ready to develop. But if Arsenal lose out to Manchester United again, then alarm bells should be ringing somewhere at the club. Andrea Berta needs to close this deal fast, get the contract signed, get the compensation agreed with Blackburn, and get Igor Tyen wearing an Arsenal shirt before United can interfere any further. Because if we keep losing these battles to Manchester United, it's not just about one or two players, it's about Arsenal's reputation in the youth market. Players and their families will start thinking, United gets deals done, Arsenal don't. That perception could hurt Arsenal for years to come. Are you sick of Manchester United stealing Arsenal's young targets? Drop yes in the comments. Now, away from transfers, there's been an injury concern that had Arsenal fans worried, but the latest update is actually good news. Gooners, Arsenal beat Wigan 4-0 in the FA Cup. Noni Madueke, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, and an own goal sealed a comfortable win. But the scoreline wasn't the story. Ben White went off injured during the match. And after the injury crisis Arsenal have been dealing with, fans immediately feared the worst. But according to Arsenal journalist Simon Collins, there's hope that White's issue was just a precaution. Here's what we know, and this is positive news. After White came off, he was spotted chatting with Mikel Arteta on the touchline. Then he sat on the bench for the rest of the match. Collins wrote on social media, quick word with Mikel and then sat on the bench, so yeah, hopefully a precaution. Most likely, if the injury had been serious, White would have headed straight down the tunnel to the medical room. The fact that he stayed on the bench and was talking normally with Arteta suggests it's nothing major. White has had his fair share of injuries this season. Arteta will be keen not to lose him for another extended period, especially with Jurrien Timber looking exhausted after the Brentford match. Arteta cannot afford to run Timber into the ground with no rotation option. That's why keeping White fit is absolutely critical for Arsenal's title push. Speaking after the game, Arteta revealed that both White and Ricardo Calafiori were injury doubts before the Wigan match. Ricardo and Ben were the only doubts. We will have to see in the next 24 hours how they develop. So both players will be assessed in the coming days. Losing Calafiori would be a massive blow as well, as it would put pressure on Piero Hincapié to remain fit during this congested fixture schedule. But for White specifically, the early signs are positive. It looks like just a precaution. Arsenal fans can breathe a sigh of relief. Drop a checkmark if you're relieved Ben White's injury isn't serious. So Gooners, 3 questions. Should Arsenal trigger Victor Valdepenas' £43 million release clause even if he won't start immediately? Are you absolutely sick of Manchester United stealing Arsenal's young targets like Igor Tyen? And what should Berta do about it? And are you relieved that Ben White's injury appears to be just a precaution? Drop your answers in the comments right now. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for Arsenal news every single day. Until next time, Gooners, come on you Gunners!